So there's a few things that all surfboards have in common. And the more you know about these traits, the more it just might improve your surfing. Who better to talk to about the importance of your shapes, different shapes you can have? My buddy Ryan. I think he's in his shaping room, and there he is. Ryan, what is going on, sir?
What's up, bud?
Hey, I wanted to do an episode in regards to things that surfboards have in common and that can help their surfing. And so I guess my question to you is, what is the number one most important thing that all surfboards, all skimboards, all boogie boards, SUPs, etc. have in common that can most help somebody?
Other than they're all waterproof, volume.
Volume, yes.
Volume.
Now you're saying volume. What is that?
That's the literage. It's how much foam, and we give it a number, and it's liters. Everyone uses liters, so it's how many cubic liters of foam is in the board, and it's displacing water. And what's crazy is that it's relatively a new thing with regard to how people sell boards. Before the advent of the CNC machine, there wasn't a fourth dimension. It was length, width, thickness. That's it. Now, I can pretty much guarantee every single surfboard label has a volume number on it, and that's actually the most important dimension on your board.
So volume is more important than the size of your board?
It's more important than the length, width, or thickness.
Okay.
It's more important than the size of your board, 100%, because the ocean is always changing. The waves we're surfing are always changing. The conditions you're out in are always changing. So your go-to board that you're generally riding every day, you need to know the dimensions, obviously, but the volume on that, based on your weight, your experience level, your physique, your fitness, is pretty important, because that volume will change if your weight fluctuates. That volume will change if you're in big waves or small waves. So you adjust up or down on the volume scale based on surf conditions and based on a fluctuating body type.
So is there an average, if somebody just says, oh, I just want the average thickness, like how does that work?
I pretty much start, we're talking surfboards, I start at 2.5. 2, very thin, 3, pretty thick. And you go up or down based on weight and skill level. So if you're a beginner, 3. If you're young and very small, say a Grom, 2 inches thick. If you're, not new at surfing, you're going to be starting around 2.5. We all have an ego, you're right? So the ocean has a way of humbling us. So foam is your friend, right?
Right.
More volume, the better. It's just how you place it. Just volume displacement theory, right?
Can you explain, because there's a lot of people out there who might not surf, want to get into surfing. How does a thicker board help a beginner?
It's going to give you more volume, which is going to give you more float, so that's going to help you paddle under the wave easier. They're more stable. Case in point, I have literally a rafters filled with old soft tops. Soft tops are just popped out chunks of foam, more or less, but they're very easy to learn on. It's actually easier to learn on a soft top than an old heavy longboard, because you might have about the same volume as like a 9.6 longboard compared to a pop out 8-foot soft top, but no performance attributes. We know that.
Right. So what's the average thickness of an 8-foot foamy?
8-foot foamy is probably about 3 inches thick. I mean, you give or take 3.5, depending on the thickness of the softness. But they're 3 inches, 3.25. And your longboard, 3 inches, 3.25. Same deal.
Someone like Kelly Slater surfing lowers. What would the thickness be on?
He's going to be on a 5'9" that's 2.25.
2.25. Even
at 52 years old.
Okay.
But he also weighs $160. Generally, most rippers, they're riding boards an inch or two below their height, or when the waves get bigger, maybe their height or a couple inches more. The reason I brought this in here is we're coming out of El Nino, and this is a perfect El Nino board. It's a pretty serious step up, 7.0, and this is for basically a pro golfer who's also a hardcore surfer, super fit, wanted a big wave board, essentially. And so this has more volume than his day-to-day shortboard.
Paddling into a big wave takes
you
want to
need
have
more volume.
Right.
You know, this is for double to triple overhead, and it's got enough volume. It's probably got 4 to 5 more liters than his regular surfboard.
The negative side to adding a lot of volume is you're going to have less maneuverability. Is that correct?
Yes and no. I would say, once you're talking 4 or 5 liters, 100%. But like what I do, especially in the summer, I ride a mini Simmons. I go 4 to 5 liters more than my regular shortboard because I know I'm going to be surfing in crowds, and usually the waves are smaller. I got a board right there. It's 38 liters. I'm 200 pounds, 6'2", 38 liters. Go-to shortboard volume. My super groveler, this mini Simmons, I bumped that volume all the way up to 41 to 43 liters. And you can see how much more I'm sitting out of the water. I'm like here versus here. I can go anywhere in any crowd and catch an absolute shitload of waves.
What's the downside to having too much foam?
Downside of having too much foam, if it's not placed right in the shape, in particular, if it's out on the rail, you're going to feel detached from the wave. You will not feel the wave as much. That's why you can have a 3-inch thick board, but when you have like pretty thinned out knifey rails, you're going to have that added buoyancy and lift factor, but still be able to feel the wave because basically your rails, that's kind of your sensitivity gauge. So that's how you're really feeling the wave, is with your rails. So having lower volume rails is pretty important.
So basically you could make, let's say, a 7-foot board paddle better than a 9-foot longboard.
100%. But I could also make a 5'1" board out paddle a board a foot longer than it.
Right.
My mini Simmons will out paddle, out surf my go-to shortboard. This is 5'11", and that's 38 liters. So this only has 2 more liters than that one, roughly. But you can kind of look at the difference in the shape. Super wide tail, really wide nose. This is a fish. This is my black marlin. And yeah, it's freaking 38 liters. But yeah, this is my regular volume. So this is a 5'11". My traditional shortboards are about 6'3", but this is the same volume as my regular board. Now this is going to be fun right here. This is going to be super fun. This is, how tall is this?
Wait. It's got to be like 4 foot.
I think it's 4'1".
Yeah.
Yeah, let's look at this. I actually don't even know. But this is a foil board. It's 4'2". It's 2 feet shorter than that. Let's call it 2 feet shorter than that. This has more volume than that board.
Could you surf that?
You could. But that's the foil mount right there. What you could do is just put 2 single fins in here.
Right.
2 little 6-inch fins. And I've seen guys doing it. But yeah, look at how thick this board is. So you can see where you get the volume on this. This is probably 3.5 inches thick.
Right.
Right? And this has way more volume than that board. With a foil board, especially when you're beginning, you want the board to give you lift. Even though you're on a foil that's going to give you lift. When you're practicing and trying to get popped up and then get lift, having something that's going to help you get lift, i.e. more volume, is better. So foilers that are advanced, they ride very small boards with less volume than their short boards, because the other thing, the foil itself has positive buoyancy. So you can, if your foil is 6 liters, add that to your overall volume number on your foil board. And that's the actual literage that you're riding on a foil board. But yeah, everything's got volume, even a belly board. This is an Alea / belly board that I was gifted. It's about a 1/2 inch thick. It's got a pretty cool little channel in it.
Now this one, what's 4 foot as well, probably?
Yep. When I get on this, I'm here.
Okay.
So I think it's Polonia wood. So it does float, but it's a 1/2 inch thick. So the volume on this is, now we're going the opposite way.
Yeah, I mean, look at the difference here.
You're part of the wave. You're not sitting on top of the wave. You are part of the wave. 100%. So this is an Eco Boogie. This is one of my soft tops that's broken.
Right.
That I've then reshaped, right? And you can see the concave I put in there.
Right.
Now, you can see how thick the soft top was originally. That's 3 inches. Right. This Eco Boogie has more volume than a traditional boogie board.
Sure.
I know people that could surf this.
Yeah.
Because it probably has about 39, 40 liters.
Right.
you're going to sit higher out of the water with this and be not so much in the wave. You know what I mean? You're going to be on top of the wave.
Yeah.
So you could actually surf this. Pop up on your fins and surf it. So my point is, foam is your friend. Volume is very important. And when in doubt, use more foam.
Right.
Add a little bit more literage to your boards, and you will have more fun and catch more waves ultimately.
Thank you for your time.
Sweet.
Appreciate it as usual.
Stoked.
And let's get busy on my
Project
secret,
board.
Top secret. Shh.